Morning, we are live, and here is another video of get ready with me while I do my makeup and we talk anything regarding real estate and personal development plus personal brand. So I'm gonna share a story today about how I got started in real estate investments, and it's a pretty cool story because it brings me back to the beginnings, to my roots, to how it was before, even before I knew anything about real estate. So I'm gonna start by sharing my experience before I came to this country because everything correlates. I am originally from Medellin, Colombia, and for those who know Medellin or the ones that don't, I'm gonna tell you, it is literally the city of the endless spring. That's how they call it, that's the nickname. And it really is, because the weather is amazing. It stays between like 65 to around 75 degrees forever. The whole, like, literally forever. So it's perfect whenever you want to have like escape from either the cold or the heat. Is like right in between, right in the middle. And it has beautiful mountains, waterfalls, rivers. It has a lot of nature, and that's part of the why I like it. Like, I really like it, and I honestly feel really happy and very proud of being from that city, Medellin, Colombia. And even though United States is beautiful and has beautiful places, and it's a really big country with different geography, still doesn't compare. It doesn't compare to Colombia, and especially to Medellin. And I think it's mostly because of the people. How friendly the people are, it's insane. It's totally insane. For example, if you're a tourist or a local and you are driving in your car and you're trying to find an address and you're lost, you can ask anybody on the street and they will definitely help you. And you know what they will do? They will even come with you and bring you there to the specific place that you need to go. And I'm telling you, because it has happened to me before. And there's just something different about the warmness of the people, and I feel like it has to do with the weather itself, like with the actual weather, because people are just happy. Like, they remain in this happy state because of the weather is amazing, the view, the nature, the food is really good. It's like, why not? Like, you don't really have much to worry about. Yes, you can say that there is another side, which is violence and things like that, but still, like, every city in the world has at least a little bit of violence and at least something bad. And just like anything in life, you're gonna find good stuff and bad stuff. But at least in Medellin, for the most part, it's beautiful and it's amazing. In Colombia in general. So if you're looking to get away for travel and see beautiful places with beautiful people and beautiful women, of course, I highly suggest you go to Colombia, and especially to Medellin. And if you need some tips, let me know, because I was born and raised there, so I can recommend you places. And so moving forward with my story, I came from Medellin 10 years ago, a decade ago, in 2016. And when I got here, guess what? I'm gonna be very honest with you in this life. When I got here, I did not know any English at all. I didn't know any English. Cuando yo llegué aquí hace 10 años, más de una década, yo no sabía nada de inglés. No sabía absolutamente nada de inglés, pero tenía muchas ganas de aprender y además tenía muchas ganas de salir adelante. I had a deep desire of learning English and to achieve the American dream. And so I was looking for the opportunities as soon as I got here, the first opportunity that I found was something that I didn't really wanted to do. Like, I knew I wasn't gonna be doing that my whole life, but it was a start. And that was cleaning offices. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I started like many immigrants here. We start by working in cleaning. So I was cleaning offices, and also like I was full-time cleaning offices and another full-time working at a restaurant at the Florida Mall. And guess what? That's what pushed me and helped me and allowed me to start learning English. Of course, being at a restaurant, you're encountered with a lot of people, especially if you are at the mall. And so I was forced pretty much to have to learn because I had to speak. So I remember funny story. I remember that, so they hired me at the restaurant, and I pretty much didn't have experience at restaurants at all, but my experience actually when I was in Colombia, I was a journalist. And so I had a TV show called R21 TV, and I was a journalist, a model. I act for a little bit too, but mainly a journalist and a model. And I was only like, I was very young. When I got here, I was 19 years old. So coming from that and having a really good life in Medellin, and coming here and starting from zero, having just a motorcycle for the four of us, mom, dad, brother, and myself, having just one bedroom where we were living, and working at cleaning offices, it wasn't all glamorous. But guess what? It taught me a lot of lessons, like discipline and perseverancia. Empezar aquí trabajando, limpiando oficinas en un restaurante, viviendo en una habitación con 4 personas y teniendo solo una moto como medio de transporte para 4 personas, mi papá, mi mamá, mi hermano y yo. No fue fácil, de verdad que no fue fácil, pero me enseñó muchas lecciones muy valiosas, como la perseverancia y la disciplina. Entonces, eso yo siento que fue parte crucial en mi camino al éxito. So moving forward, right, I was learning English, I was working, and it wasn't easy, but I was hungry and I knew that I was going to achieve the American dream, right? So then I was presented another opportunity to start working in real estate, and I started working as pretty much as an assistant on the marketing side, doing paperwork, doing administration work, and doing photography, which is what at that point I was the best at. I had again experience being a journalist, being in the communication world, and I also was a photographer. So I brought my camera with me from Medellin, and I was ready. So there I was, 19 years old, didn't know any English, but I started working in real estate, and I started doing the contracts for the sales. So I laugh because I just remember a time where when I mess up, and I actually mess up really bad. I was doing a contract where we were representing the seller in this transaction, this specific transaction. We were selling a house, we were representing the seller, and we found the buyer. So we were representing both the seller and the buyer in the same transaction. And I was the one in charge of filling all of the paperwork, all the contracts, the addendums, and all of that. And guess what I did? I filled in the wrong contract without knowing. I had no idea. I filled in the wrong contract, sent it to the seller to sign, sent it to the buyer to sign. They both signed, and the contract was fully executed. And guess what? Nobody noticed it until after the inspection time when it got tricky. So the buyer was a lawyer, the seller was a doctor. We were representing both of them. And of course, the buyer being a lawyer, he looked very in depth in the contract. And after he did the inspection of the property, he sends us an addendum asking for all of the different points that he wanted for the seller to fix in order for him to keep moving forward with the contract. Ahora lo voy a decir en español. Hay algo que es muy chistoso, ahora me río, en ese momento no fue tan chistoso, y fue que en una de las primeras transacciones que yo estaba trabajando en real estate, comenzando, yo estaba representando a el vendedor y al comprador. Encontramos al vendedor, que era un doctor, y al comprador, que era un lawyer, un attorney, un abogado. Y resulta que yo usé el contrato equivocado, sin darme cuenta. Era como el tercer contrato, algo así muy reciente. Y resulta que nadie se había dado cuenta excepto por el comprador, que es el abogado, que él claramente sí sabía, pero lo mantuvo en secreto como un as bajo la manga porque le convenía, y ahora les cuento por qué. Después de hacer la inspección de la casa, porque normalmente en una compra el comprador y el vendedor firman el contrato y luego el comprador hace una inspección de la casa, y después de esa inspección pues decide si continúa con la compra o no según lo que encuentre. En este caso el comprador encontró muchas cosas en la casa que él quería que se le arreglaran, y obviamente esto tenía un costo. Entonces lo que él hizo, guess what he did, lo que él hizo fue que hizo la inspección y luego nos envió un addendum, que es un anexo al contrato, escribiendo muy detalladamente una a una todas las cosas que él quería que el vendedor de la casa arreglara en la casa para poder que el comprador continuara con la venta, con la compra. Y dijo que si no, pues, o sea, no era como que era una opción, sino que estaba simplemente mandando el listado y como que esto es lo que yo quiero y ya, así es. Entonces nosotros recibimos el addendum, hablamos con el vendedor, obviamente le presentamos el documento y él dice, no, yo no estoy dispuesto en este momento a hacer esos arreglos, no tengo el dinero, no me parece justo, la casa se vende así, quiere decir en condición tal cual y como está, no los voy a hacer, no los puedo hacer. Y le damos la respuesta nosotros como representantes al comprador. Imagínense que ahí fue cuando él sacó ese as bajo la manga del error que yo originalmente había cometido, porque yo había elegido el contrato equivocado, donde ese contrato básicamente obligaba a el vendedor de la casa a arreglar lo que fuera que el comprador pidiera. ¿Ah? ¿Ustedes pueden creer eso? Ese contrato que yo usé por error obligaba a mi cliente vendedor a que arreglara lo que sea que el comprador quisiera que se arreglara para que pudiera comprar la casa. Estamos hablando de miles de dólares, literal. Y cuando el comprador nos dice eso, miren, aquí está el contrato y ustedes prácticamente lo tienen que hacer, o sea, ustedes y el vendedor como representantes, nosotros como representantes y el vendedor como dueño, ustedes lo tienen que hacer porque eso está en el contrato. Y yo, oh my god, la cagué pero bien cagada. So now in English, once the buyer finished the inspection of the property, because when a property gets under contract fully executed is when both buyer and seller get into the same agreement and they sign a contract. And so in that contract, and the buyer performs an inspection of the property, and after the inspection he decides if he wants to move forward with the purchase of the property or not. And so what happened was the buyer did the inspection, came back to us and sent us a whole entire list, like a long list of everything that he wanted the seller to fix at the house for him. We presented this addendum to the seller. We asked him about it, and he said, no, I unfortunately cannot do that. He didn't have the money for it, the funds for it, and he was not in a position to make it happen. So we go back to the buyer and we tell him, hey, I'm sorry, unfortunately, he's not gonna be able to do it. And so that's when the buyer takes the as under the, ¿cómo se dice? El as bajo la manga. Bueno, he pretty much brings up the error that I personally had originally committed, which was the wrong contract. And guess what? He shows us, no, look, what do you mean the seller is not gonna fix this and that? Take a look. Here in the contract says that the seller is responsible to fix anything that I need for the property, pretty much anything that the buyer wanted. And oh my God, guys, that is when I realized how important it is to read contracts line by line, page by page, word by word, because that was thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars, that now the seller had to do to pay and to fix for the buyer in order for the whole transaction to continue. And wow, I mean, can you imagine how I felt? I felt horrible. I felt like I let them down. I felt like I let myself down, and I was scared, and I was like, what are we gonna do now? This is crazy. I don't have the money to pay for it myself. And so I was just starting. Anyway, long story short, thank God, God is good and graceful, because we were able to negotiate with both parties, and we were able to come to an agreement where both of them were happy. And thank God we were still able to move forward and close the transaction. Guys, this is one of the stories that I'm never gonna forget ever. And it taught me that, again, every single contract, I have to make sure I read it very well, word by word, line by line, page by page, before I sign anything, or before I send to my clients to send anything. Again, don't judge me, because this is over 10 years ago. I had no knowledge of real estate. I did not know any English, and so I actually was just like very it was a high risk, that I was taking, and that the realtor that I was working with, because I was the assistant, was taking in, like, leaving me with that responsibility of filling in all of the contracts, even though I had no idea what the contract said, because I didn't know any English. It's insane. Oh man, it's funny. And so entonces, bueno, volviendo a la historia ahora en español, lo mejor de todo, y de verdad que Dios es grande, y si no hubiera sido por él, esto yo no sé, no hubiera funcionado, pero resulta que afortunadamente pudimos llegar a un acuerdo entre el comprador y el vendedor, en donde ambos se sintieron felices, se sintieron bien, y pudimos todavía continuar con la transacción y pudimos cerrar. Y al final de todo salió bien. Pero ahí fue donde yo me di cuenta, eso fue como la tercera transacción que estaba haciendo hace más de 10 años, no sabía inglés, no sabía real estate, estaba apenas comenzando, y ahí fue cuando me di cuenta y enfaticé en la importancia que uno tiene en cuanto a cualquier tipo de contrato, ya sea real estate, lo que sea. Qué importante es leer palabra por palabra, línea por línea, página por página, de cualquier contrato que uno vaya a firmar en su vida, siempre. Y desde eso yo soy súper detallada en todo lo que hago, todos los contratos, y en mi vida en general. Yo siempre soy muy detallada para todo, pero en ese momento fue un error, porque yo no sabía inglés, era como a cultural problem, a language problem. Entonces el caso fue que afortunadamente todo funcionó, mejor dicho, por obra del Espíritu Santo, Y después de eso, pues yo me di cuenta que tanto, o sea, que también tenía que tanta atención tenía que poner en todo. Entonces, bueno, afortunadamente eso funcionó y todo bien, pero pues ahora en este momento es que yo me río y les cuento, pero imagínense en ese momento yo cómo me sentí. En ese momento fue terrible, o sea, yo me sentí como que yo me había fallado a mí misma, le había fallado a mis clientes y como que no sabía ni qué hacer porque eran miles de dólares que estábamos hablando. Yo había acabado de llegar y obviamente yo no podía pagar eso y pues obviamente me asustó bastante, pero bueno, afortunadamente, gracias a Dios, todo funcionó muy bien y ahora les estoy contando la historia. Entonces, ¿a qué voy con esto? Quiero hacer un énfasis en lo importante que es, primero que todo, tomar riesgos. Para cualquier cosa, para cualquier tipo de éxito que uno quiera alcanzar en la vida, uno debe tomar éxitos. So number one thing that I want to emphasize is how important it is to take risks. To achieve any type of success, we need to take risks. Without taking risk, you're not going to get results. And doesn't matter if you know of something or not, unless you take the risk, you're not going to be able to learn it. So by taking the risk, by taking action, by practicing what you want to learn, that's how you learn it. And then as you learn it, you keep trying, and that's how you perfect it, right? So that's how it works pretty much. Any type of success in life, it's achieved by taking risks, taking action, and keeping that momentum going until one day you become an expert and you master anything that you want to do. And then after that real life story, I'm going to continue with the original topic that I mentioned that I was going to talk about, which is how I got started actually investing in real estate. I just shared with you a story of how I got started in real estate in general, because at the beginning, before I started investing, I was representing buyers and sellers. But the end goal was to become an investor like what I am today. Today I am a real estate investor and I am an expert of helping you multiply your investments through real estate. I am an expert on helping you becoming financially free through real estate investments. And I can do it while I sleep now, because now it's been over 10 years. It's been over 70 rental doors that I personally own and manage, and it's been over 500 transactions that I have participated and represented either buyers, sellers, or renters in the last 10 years. So I do know what I'm talking about. And so going back to the story, now the story of investing, right? So the very first house that I invested in was a 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom house with a 1-car garage. This was a small house and I still have it until today. It's like 1,200 square feet. That small house had a 1-car garage, and that 1-car garage already had an independent entrance. The house was a corner lot. And so what we did, my business partner and myself, was that we converted that 1-car garage into a studio apartment. It was about 200 square feet. We added a kitchen, added a full bathroom. The independent entrance was already there, made it pretty, added a queen bed, and that was it. We rented it on Airbnb. And whoa, I'm talking back in 2016, exactly 10 years ago, that property was renting amazingly. Just the garage, which again was like 200 and something square feet, Just the garage was generating around $2,000 a month. Just the garage of that house was generating around $2,000 a month. And guess how much the mortgage of the property was? The entire mortgage of the property was $1,200. $1,200. So the mortgage of the property was $1,200, and just the garage was renting and bringing in $2,000 a month consistently. And guess what? I still had 2 other bedrooms in the house. I was living in the master bedroom and I had 2 other bedrooms. So, rented out the 2 other bedrooms all as well on Airbnb, and each bedroom was making about $1,000 a month. So $2,000 in the garage, $2,000 with the both bedrooms. That's $4,000 a month. And the expenses of the house, the mortgage was $1,200, then plus water, electricity, Wi-Fi, and all the maintenance. The expenses came out at around $2,000, and so the net profit was around $2,000. Can you believe that? We were netting a profit net of around $2,000 a month, plus we were living for free in the house, plus we were meeting amazing people from all around the world that came to our Airbnbs, and we will learn about different cultures, share experiences with them, share foods with them. It was amazing. Like, I actually really enjoyed those beginning stages of the journey, because it was something new and it was something pretty cool. And of course, like, money was great. And of course, like, I mean, that wasn't gonna be like, you can't live completely out of $2,000 a month, but that was a really good foundation, at least to cover the biggest expense that any human being has, which is housing. Doesn't matter where you live or what you do, anywhere in the world, you still need to pay for housing. You either buy or you rent or you roommate and live with a couple people. Whatever you do, we all need a house to live at, right? And that's why I truly believe and I know that real estate is a really good investment, because it's a product that every single person in the world needs. Doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what you do, we all need a house to live. 2 things we all need, all human beings: housing, food, and clothing. Those are some of three of the basic needs that a human being needs, every single human being. So I know that all of those three are really good businesses to be at, because again, you're gonna have a lot of clientele. It's a product that everybody needs. So real estate is, in fact, the highest is the best investment. Why? Because it's the one that gives you the highest return on investment, plus is the less risky one. Because when you talk about food, for example, restaurant, it's a very risky business. When COVID happened, the restaurants had to close. When the economy goes bad, people cannot go out to eat anymore. But guess what? Even if the market drops, even if the economy goes down, even if COVID happens, whatever happens, you and I and every human being are gonna still need to have a house to live. That's a fact. So housing is always going to be necessary. And even though it does fluctuate, real estate goes up and then comes down and goes up again. Even though it fluctuates, you're still going to have that asset, that tangible asset in the ground that is not going to move away. It's not going anywhere. Nobody can take it from you. So that's why I, as a real estate investor expert, can guarantee to you that real estate is the safest and highest growing investment that you can ever make. Proven by Kelly Gomez with the house hacking method. And that's why I want to give you a special invite. And that special invite is I'm actually running a 10% discount for my coaching program. I'm going to say that again. I'm running a 10% discount for my coaching program. So if you comment the word coaching right here in this video, you're going to get into a discovery phone call with me, and you're gonna get 2 gifts. The first one is what I just mentioned, 10% discount from my coaching program. That's number 1. And number 2, you are getting a free consultation with me. And I'm gonna help you, and I can guarantee that I'm gonna give my best 110% to help you achieve the goals that you have in your mind. If it's either buying your very first investment property, or your second, or your third, or you are at that point where you want to grow your portfolio and bring it to the next level, I am the person that can help you with that. With that being said, guys, don't wait too long, because the market's moving, and in the next 90 days it's gonna be over. Like, if you don't invest right now, in the next 90 days it's gonna get more difficult, and it's always gonna get more and more difficult because there is more and more people doing it. And so you don't want to wait on it, you don't want to sleep on it. You do not want to sleep on this opportunity, because it's going to pass. And I will hate to have to tell you, I'm sorry, it's too late. I don't want to have to tell you that. And that's why I encourage you to take action today. That's why I encourage you to take action today. Y ahora lo voy a decir en español, porque no voy a dejar a mi gente latina por fuera. Yo soy latina de raíz, soy colombiana de nacimiento y nacida y crecida en Medellín, Colombia, y por eso es que también quiero darle la oportunidad a mis compatriotas latinos. Y en este momento tengo 2 regalos para ustedes. El primer regalo es 10% de descuento en mi programa de mentoría para inversiones en finca raíz. Estoy regalando el 10% de descuento en mi mentoría para inversiones en finca raíz. Y tranquilo que si estás en otra ciudad o incluso en otro país, lo podemos hacer 100% virtual. No hay límites. Y el segundo regalo que tengo para ti es que te voy a regalar 100% gratis una asistencia, una mentoría. O sea, la primera mentoría va a ser 100% gratis, en donde te voy a dar muchísima información de valor y te voy a ayudar a llegar a cumplir esas metas que tú estás buscando. Así que no esperes más tiempo. No quiero que pase el tiempo y luego tenerte que decir, lo siento, es demasiado tarde, ya no se puede, ya no tengo más cupos, porque ya no tengo muchos cupos disponibles, para que tengan en cuenta. I don't have a lot of open spaces for it. I only have limited seats for these 2 gifts that I'm telling you. So once it fills up, it fills up. And I don't want you to run out of time. I don't want you to get out of this opportunity, because I know how good it is. I know how real estate has transformed my life and my client's life, and I can guarantee that it will also transform your life. I know that with every single cell of my body. I know it. So I know what I'm talking about. Again, I started with 1 property back in 2016. Now I have over 70 rental units, and I'm gonna keep growing, because the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, do not wait until the opportunity is out. Do not wait until everybody else gets it but you, and do not wait until the time that you decide. And unfortunately, it's too late. So with that being said, it was a pleasure to speak with you today, and I'm going to leave you with one quote. And be ready and take notes, because this quote can also transform your life. This is actually, in fact, the beginning of your transformation. Are you ready? Take notes. I'm gonna give you a second so you can find a paper and a pen, or so you can get your cell phone ready on your notes, because this quote is gonna be powerful. Okay, ready? Here is the quote. Write it down. 60 seconds of unperfected action is worth more than 6 months of planning in stagnation. I'm gonna say that again. 60 seconds of unperfected action is worth more than 6 months of planning in stagnation. I'm gonna say it in Spanish now. Ahora lo voy a decir en español. Me despido de ustedes con esta frase. Agarren papel y lápiz, cojan su celular y abran las notas y tomen nota. ¿Listos? 60 segundos de tomar acción imperfectamente vale más que 6 meses de planeación sin movimiento. Con eso los dejo hoy. Analicen, piensen. Fue un placer hablar con ustedes y arreglarme con ustedes. I'm gonna leave you guys with that. It was a pleasure speaking with you and getting ready with you. And I hope you have an amazing day and go out there and take action. Aloha.